It's the first Friday of December, so that means it's a First Friday Flight Fight. I'm Peter Fasciano. This is Whiskey is a Journey. If you're not familiar with this segment, the first Friday of every month, I put together a selection of shelf-available products or products from a specific distillery. I have them all lined up here. Today's First Friday Flight Fight is going to be an American single malt flight. You guys already saw it from the thumbnail, but this is going to be the Westward First Friday Flight Fight. I was part of their monthly giveaway, their monthly subscription. So each month I ended up getting a bottle or two from their select bottle types. And I have a couple, I think two of the regular shelf products in here as well. As soon as I get finished switching these things around, I will flash the bottles up and let you know what is what. So as I go through, I'm going to nose them and taste them. And then by the time I get through the flight one time, I should have an idea of which one I like the most. And then I'm going to go off air, taste them back the other direction, and then reveal to myself what it is that I've been drinking and which one I like the most. So let me go ahead and take the caps off these things and get this thing going. Before I do, please do me a favor. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I have a Patreon account. The link to the Patreon account is in the description below. If you get through this and you end up liking what I'm doing, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. All right, I have my paper here. I've got my water here. I'm going to nose and taste each one, give you an idea of what's going on. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you've had anything from, I always get Westward and Westland mixed up. So I don't know if I said it earlier. This is an American single malt Westward flight out of Portland, Oregon. Westland is from Seattle. All right. This smells a little bit beery to me, and I think that's going to be a common theme throughout the entire flight. I don't know what it is about them, but Westward does have I think they have a brewing background, and I don't know if it's the yeast that they use or the process that they go through, but I get like beer vibes from it. There's a tremendous amount of vanilla, chocolate, malt, leather, tobacco coming out of this one. There's a slight sweetness as well, kind of like fruity sweetness. But I tell you what, the color looks great. It smells fantastic. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate. Cheers, everybody. Holy cow, is that sweet. That is one of the ripest, sweetest pieces of fruit you can eat. It is a juicy grape, a juicy peach, a juicy pineapple. That chocolate note is there, that leather, tobacco. I think this is really good, but I can see how this would fatigue the palate because it is so sweet. And then the subtleties behind it, I think you really need to search for those over the sweetness. But I tell you what, though, this is dessert in a glass. And if you're in the mood for something like that, that would be absolutely fantastic. Let me go ahead and get my notes down for that and then move on to glass number two. All right, man, that is insane. That sweetness went right to my brain and just went like, ah, that is wild. All right, glass number two. Glass number two is definitely a lot more muted than glass one. That whole beery, yeasty kind of note is coming through. It's very subtle. It's malty. I'm not getting chocolate or tobacco on this one. Let me see. It is, I'm telling you, glass number one was a monster. So whatever is in glass number two, I think it is being disguised by what I just had from glass one. You know, it's just a random draw on a flight. You never know what you're drinking until the very end. But something can play off of another glass either in a good way or a bad way. It's just the nature of flights. And I'm really struggling with glass number two. Let's see if it opens up on the palate. I get some fruitcake spice, dried fruits on the palate. There is a little bit of a chocolatey note that's coming through as well. It's not dry, it's not leather, it's not tobacco. malty, chocolate, fruitcake sweet, like the dried fruits in a fruitcake. I wouldn't say that it's very proofy, but yeah, I think that same beery, yeasty note is coming through on this as well. Let me jot that down. All right, so the finish on glass number 2 was actually nice. There was a little bit of a Christmas spice, fruitcake spice, a little bit of, like anise, but not over the top, not like a black licorice. Ginger, pepper, almost a little bit of like apple, cinnamon, like during the holidays. I don't know if you guys do this or not, but there's an apple cinnamon, I don't even know what they call it, like an apple cinnamon cider that you heat up. There's cinnamon sticks in it. It's a little bit spicy and it's apple. That's kind of what I'm getting the vibe in glass number 2. Definitely not as sweet as glass number 1, but yeah, it's still really good. All right, glass number 3 smells markedly different than the first 2. It's definitely not jumping out of the glass as sweet. Do get a little bit of fruit, dark dried red fruits. And again, they all have that same kind of brewery kind of note to it. And I'm getting a little bit of like a charry note coming through. I thought glass number 2 was pretty subdued. Glass number 3 is even more subdued than glass 2. The notes are very subtle, but I like them. Not as spice forward or cinnamon or appley. I would just say it has a fruit sweetness with a little bit of like a barrel char to it. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate. General sweetness with a little kick of spice and barrel char. Yeah, this tastes like a campfire char. Like if you have a campfire food, like you wrap your meal up in tinfoil and maybe like a little coal got inside there. And as you're eating it, you kind of chomp down on the coal, kind of an ashy, smoky, charry kind of bit. But again, I think everything's going to have that Westward distillate kind of profile to it. And now that I'm nosing it and tasting it, I think that spice is kind of rising to the top, masking a little bit of the sweetness, but that barrel char or charriness is there. I like that one as well. It's going to be interesting to go back to glass number 1 because that really just shocked my palate. I think I'm going to have to take my time with that one. But so far, I would think I like glass number 2, 3, and then 1. So let me get my notes down on that one and move on to the next one. All right, time to get glass number 4. All right, again, Westward distillate. I'd be curious to have this in a blind, not knowing what I'm tasting, to see if that Westward distillate brewery yeasty kind of note comes through, if it's actually as dominant as I think it is, knowing what I'm drinking. Because they all have a commonality of that note. Other than that, this is slightly spicy and slightly sweet. They're all malty and they all have a chocolate note to it as well. This one seems to be the least interesting on the nose, so let's go ahead and get it on the palate. All right, that one is spice forward, then sweet. And when I say spice forward, these are the Christmas spices, dried fruit, again, still chocolate. This one's the least interesting to me on the palate. Very comparable in proof as the others. I think glass number 2 may not have been very proofy, but I think these other 3 are kind of hovering around the same burn point in the mouth. But yeah, this one has a little bit of a sharpness to it, an edge to it, not as cohesive, not as rounded. Kind of feels like things are a little bit segregated as far as when it hits the palate. I get spice. That spice kind of dips down, then I get malt. That kind of dips down, and then I ended up getting like dried fruit. So this one is a little bit all over the place. Definitely my least favorite. But as it's sitting here finishing, I'm getting a root beer cola, root beer finish. Yeah, that's interesting, but definitely my least favorite. All right, let me get that down. Go on to glass number 5. All right, as I was writing down my notes for glass number 4, that root beer note turned into like a really heavy black licorice note. It was a little bit too dominated. I can see this one not being in the top 2. I'm not particularly liking that one. I mean, they're good, but as far as a comparison, I think this one is in my last place so far. All right, I'm going to stop saying the typical thing because it's in every one of these so far. Malty, chocolate. It's a little bit less spicy on the nose than the others. Stinging the nose just a little bit. This one kind of has like a red Jolly Rancher note to it. And wow, I tell you what, those Christmas spices, a cinnamon, ginger, black pepper, like an apple cinnamon stick, vanilla icing, like a cinnamon roll. That's what I'm getting here. All right, let's get it on the palate. All right, that immediately sucked the moisture off of my tongue. This is very dry, very drying, dried fruits. I think I ran into the cask strength one. This one's actually lightened my mouth up quite a bit, much more than any of these others. So I'm guessing that this has to be the cask strength. I mean, my mouth is watering like crazy, but holy cow, it is drying. It's dried fruit, dried red fruit, malty, chocolate, leather, tobacco. Kind of a weird oaky bitterness on the finish. Good, but initial reaction, I think it might be just ahead of glass number 4. I think that proof dominates a little bit. That dryness is not necessarily my favorite. It is latching on. It's sinking underneath my tongue. The sweetness, the chocolate, the cinnamon, the dried fruits, dried red fruits. That one's interesting. Yeah, compared to the first 3, I would say I would put that one below those 3, but ahead of this. So let me get that down. Move on to the last glass. Yeah, as I'm writing down those notes, I think this one might be tied with glass number 4 as my least favorite. I'm going to have to go back and forth between the two to figure out which one's going to bring up the rear. Ooh, holy cow. All right. Glass 1 and glass 6 are very powerful on the nose. I'm getting chocolate like to the nth degree. Coffee, bitter coffee, almost like an espresso. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, vanilla, malt. There is a little bit of an acetone astringency that's jumping out of the glass as well. But holy cow, this one smells decadent. Like it's going to just sit on the palate. There's going to be weight to it. It's going to be viscous. I think I like the way this smells more than any of them. Yeah, that coffee note's pretty cool. Coffee, leather, tobacco, chocolate. Like a hot fudge sundae. All right, let's get it on the palate. Holy cow, that is really good. Hot fudge sundae sprinkled with a little bit of cocoa powder, chocolate, tobacco, leather. That beer note is definitely in here. This tastes like a really rich, chocolatey coffee, like a cafe mocha. Yeah, I think this one, to me, is the winner. I've got to go back to glass number 1 just because, again, it was so like in your face. Holy cow, I'm really digging this one quite a bit. Based on the coffee note, I think I have an idea of what this one, I don't think I have an idea. I know I have a clear thought about what this one was. Probably shouldn't do that because I know for a fact that I really enjoyed this. I think this one is the stout finished one. just because of the coffee note. None of the others have that coffee note. This is amazing. Leave me a comment down below if you like coffee flavor coming through on the whiskeys, or if you're more of like the vanilla bourbon kind of vibes. This one is different. It's interesting. I can see again how this one might fatigue the palate like glass number 1. I mean, I took a small sip of this one, and again, it just exploded my brain with like, oh, this is way too sweet. This one's exploding my brain as well, but it's more on the savory chocolate coffee side of things, and I'm liking that quite a bit. So I'm going to write down my notes, go off air really quick, go back the other direction, and then when I come back, I will let you know what my order is. And leave me comments down below. Again, if you have had Westward and what kind of shelf products do you like from them. If you're a member of their whiskey club, let me know what you've gotten from them and if you've liked anything. And if you're still a member. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so that was actually pretty close to what I imagined it was my first time through. So let's go ahead and jump into this. In my 6th place, I don't think this one changed very much, and it was glass number 4. I think this one was the least interesting. It was the most fragmented, and it just didn't really come together as far as, I mean, it was enjoyable, but in comparison to all of these, I just thought that it was the least interesting. So glass number 4 is in 6th place. Right next to it, glass number 5, the drying component that I got from it, I still felt that this was pretty complex, but it was too drying. But that complexity was a little bit more interesting than glass number 4. So glass number 5 gets the 5th spot. Glass number 3 gets my 4th spot. And I'm saying this one was spicy and it was fruit. It had a pretty good balance. I think this, well, it's in 4th place. I think this kind of got hidden in between everything. I mean, it wasn't drying. It wasn't not interesting. I felt that it had some complexity and character to it, but the ones that I put above it just outshined this one. Spice, chocolate, red fruit notes, like dried red fruit notes. I mean, it was good. And there was a little bit of like barrel char smokiness to it, campfirey. I thought that's what separated this one from position 5. It just had a little bit more complexity, a little bit more interest to it. And then in 3rd place, I put glass number 1. This is a shock to the brain with sweetness. I can see how this will be a mood pour. What's in the glass, that fruity sweetness is absolutely amazing. But like I had mentioned, palate fatigue, it's good, but I don't know if I would have more than one pour of this. But what is in there, fruit sweetness, chocolate, malt, tobacco, vanilla, everything in there was really good. And it was a really dynamic pour, just too sweet. So that took 3rd. 2nd place, this one came across as spice, chocolate. It had a little bit of a banana note. I thought it had probably the most well-rounded flavors of all of them. It was just pretty even, pretty consistent from the arrival to mid-palate to finish. And I can see myself drinking this with like multiple pours. It just came across as pretty well balanced, pretty well formed, and it was good. So that's in 2nd place. As soon as I took a sip of glass number 6, I just absolutely love the coffee chocolate note that's coming through here. So glass number 6 ended up taking a 1st place. So you already know because I've been flashing the bottles up. So let's go ahead and reveal to myself what it is that I put in 6th place, which was glass number 4. Last place, oh, that was glass number 3. Last place, glass number 4, if I can count. This one is the Trinity. So the Trinity of casks, this was their monthly bottle. And I have them all sitting down here. I'm not going to grab each one, but this is the Trinity. Just least interesting. And then in fifth place, right next to it, I have, holy cow. Okay, so this is the cask strength. The cask strength came across as completely drying. And I gave a sample of this to Spirited Reviews, and I think they felt the same way. I don't think they particularly cared for this one, even though they did like Westward, and they have liked Westward cask strength in the past. So I don't know if my bottle's just old or not, but I'm going to be interested to see how a new bottle compares to my older bottle. So that is in fifth place. In fourth place, I have glass number 3, and that was the smoked one, or the smoked casks. So this one again had, okay, smoke cask, char, barrel char, like a little bit of smoke. This I felt was pretty good. It was your, I don't want to say like basic pour, but it was a decent pour. I can see this just going down really easy, like right there in the middle of the pack. It was decent. It was good. In third place, I put glass number 1. And again, it was just way too sweet. And that is the, how the heck do you pronounce that? This is the, I do have to grab the bottle because my pronunciation might be completely way off. All right. So glass number 1 was finished in, is it Takagi casks? And again, this one is also their monthly subscription. And exclusive release Westward Club 2025. Yeah, this one is a dessert in a glass. It is really, really sweet. Still good, just not something that I can see myself having more than one pour. And then in second place was glass number 2. And glass number 2, I said, was, yeah, just well-rounded, very cohesive. This is Westward. This is their standard release. Yeah, that's a little bit surprising to me that the standard release, which is, I think, a little bit lower proof than the majority of them. I think it's still 46%. But holy cow, that is well-rounded. It's good. It's a go-to bottle. That's something I can see myself drinking multiple glasses of. Don't overindulge, but I can see myself drinking more than one, which leaves the only thing left is the stout. There was no doubt in my mind that this is the stout. So stout takes it. Very unique flavors. I can also see this being a mood pour, but that chocolate, tobacco, coffee, malty, it was just really good. I enjoy that. So I think that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Westward, what your favorite release is. And I was going to do a blend, but I think I'm going to skip that one this time. So wherever you are at in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it. Until the next time, we'll talk to everybody later. Bye. And I guess I should have a little bit more of an explanation. My palate is just trashed. I think this happens quite a bit, and I know I'm jumping back in here at the very, very end. But let me know in the comments down below, not only Westward, but are there bourbons, ryes, whiskeys in general out there that give you palate fatigue? And I know Westward just destroyed my palate today. It was so vibrant, and some of the flavors that were coming out of here were so sweet or so decadent that I experienced palate fatigue, and I don't know if I would be able to give a blend the justice that it deserves. So that's why I'm deciding to skip the blend. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any specific whiskeys that give you palate fatigue, even though you enjoy a glass of it. All right, that's all I have. We'll talk to everybody later.